TJ, I have never asked you this before, but how did you feel as you got older, of course, knowing that mommy wasn't alive? Like, what things did you feel as a child compared to your understanding of what death is and things like that in Neha?
Hi, my name is Barbee, and I'm excited to announce my new podcast, Be Well and Exhale. On this podcast, we'll discuss lifestyle topics, entrepreneurship, and of course, wellness. Each episode will feature impactful guests who share their experiences in pursuit of success and wellness. So, get ready to be well and exhale with me. You can find us everywhere podcasts are available.
Hi, Be Well Besties. My name is Barbee, and I am your host for Be Well and Exhale. And today I have a super special guest with us, and his name is Thomas Barbee. He is my little brother. Thinks he's big, but my little brother. And for the month of October, we just wanted to bring more awareness to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And also, we recently passed Mental Health Day a couple of days ago. And so we just wanted to have a real candid and heartfelt conversation about how we as siblings have coped through losing our mom to breast cancer at such a young age. So, but we are still here for the smiles and all those things. But I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, Be Well and Exhale community? I'm Thomas, aka TJ. I go to North Carolina A&T State University, the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University.
Eagle Pride.
But yeah, I'm a biology major here with a minor in chemistry. This is my last year. I'll be graduating December 16th. We're gonna shut the city down. It's gonna be dope.
Well, thank you for that introduction. So I'm so proud of you. Let me just start out by saying that you're just a little boy, and I'm here, a man with a beard and facial hair, and I just can't even believe it. And I'm so happy that you agreed to drive all the way from Greensboro after your lab to come here and have this conversation with you. Go back to see. So I'm honored for that. So let's hop right into it. I will just kind of give some background to let people know why this is so important to us. So our mother, Natasha Janelle Barbee, she was 33 years old when she passed away from cancer, breast cancer. And it was diagnosed, it was going undetected for some time. And whenever she was diagnosed, you were what?
No,
or you were younger than one because you passed away when you were one. So she was only 33, and my brother was about to be 1. My sister was 8, and I was 9. So it's something that we have dealt with and learned how to cope with for quite some time now. So it's easy to talk about, but of course we love and miss our mother. And I don't think children of those who are deceased have enough conversations about what it's like. And so I just wanted to share my perspective and also just hear yours. So first, TJ, I have never asked you this before, but how did you feel as you got older, of course, knowing that mommy wasn't alive? Like, what things did you feel as a child compared to your understanding of what death is and things like that in Neha?
I would more so say as a child, I was like worried that I wouldn't necessarily grow up like everybody else did. Mm-hmm. So it was like, you see in movies, mother's there, mother's present. You see it in your friends' lives, mother's there, mother's present. But in my life, it's like, yo, where my mom at? Like I didn't see her. I didn't know who she was. And I mean, honestly, I was sad about it at first. I would say, especially for like my childhood. But as I grew older, I kind of like understood that I never really missed out on like motherly love. So it was like luckily, my mom, she left behind 2 older sisters. She also left behind 2 daughters that like really raised me, that took care of me. So it was like, it was never an instance where it was like, oh man, I'm really missing out. Cause like I had y'all. So I had you, Zoe, Auntie, Aunt Nikki, grandmommy, and it was like they all like pitched in that extra effort. Especially for like Aunt Nikki. Like, I mean, with me and Aunt Nikki, it's kind of like a trade-off in a sense. Like she lost her son, I lost my mom. And so like, yeah, and so like me and her, like we grew extremely close. Like I will always try and like look after her. She will always try and look after.
Trying to understand why you always go to Nikki. That's the crazy aunt house.
Nah, for real.
No, wow.
Yeah,
no.
shout out Aunt Nikki.
Yes. I never thought about that, and yeah, no, I feel you. Because I'm a female, so coming from like a male perspective, I'm glad that you felt that comfort and that nurturing feeling from me, Zoe, and our aunt and grandmothers. So that's nice that I actually hear. So I want to go back. You said you were sad. Honestly, like seeing you and raising you and just being your sister, I never knew what was going on in your head because you did not communicate much. So like in times like where you were sad, what did you do?
I would say most of the time, like when I was a kid, like being sad, it was more so I was like isolating myself. So it was like, I mean, of course, like we all got those moments where we sit in the bedroom late at night and you like have those thoughts that's like coursing through your mind and you just have like those imaginations. But it wasn't something that was like continual. It wasn't like something like, oh, I was always sad. It was just, I mean, you might see like a kid and his mom at a picnic or something, and you thinking about it, you like, dang, like I wish I knew my mom, or I wish I like was able to like, you know, at least experience her, like know who she is. But at the same time, even with that situation, it's like you can compare it to other people. Like other people, they go through way crazier things, like way crazier traumatic things. Some people, they never get to know their mom or their dad type. And so with that, I love Graham so much because she tells me stories all the time about mom. And that's the basis of a lot of our conversations that we have. Like it's her reliving her time, telling me about her daughter, my mom, and then it's also me just getting to experience her, like secondhand almost.
No, that's really cool because I mean, even at 9, like you remember things, but you don't remember everything. But of course, like it's like weird. I remember small things. I remember how her pocketbook smelled. It smelled like lipstick. It's always smelled like all red lipstick smelled the same. I just feel like her purse is junky, just like mine. And so I always like smell my purse sometimes like, I wonder if it's like mommy's purse. But it's like I do remember some things, but then it's like I don't. And that's how I am too, like certain things will occur where it's like, oh dang, I wish I had mommy. So I think like the times where it's harder or it's more pronounced is like Mother's Day. And now you know Mother's Day is schooling the schools during Mother's Day and how they only draw this for your mom, say mom, but it's like, what about my aunt? What about my grandmother? What about my sister? So like those are the moments I think as a child, like I had so much anxiety and I didn't know, like I dreaded Mother's Day growing up in like elementary school because like you had to draw the pictures and just all these things. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna give it to them, like our grandparents and stuff, but it's still like those are like the hard moments for me. And of course, having a child, graduating from high school, graduating from college. But I think our family is so good at making sure that like they know that they support us and we're loved. And so, like you kind of said, that really helps us feel that way. And it can never, like, no one can never replace your mother. But I feel like our family's like kind of like a good cushion in a sense.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for sharing that with me. So I want to know, like, just kind of sliding over to more so from a mental health perspective. What are ways, like, now that you are, I guess you're an adult?
Yes, I'm 22 years old.
Okay. How in your adult years have you been able to cope with, like, you know, mommy being gone versus when you're a child, like, you kind of kept it to yourself? You never really talked to me about mommy, like, growing up. I just always wondered, like, who did you talk to? I know you said Graham, but, like, what ways, I guess, do you cope now that you can speak more?
It's more so like we don't necessarily like forget that person, or let's say like try and run away from that situation. It's more so we go through it. Like, as long as we growing through it, like, that person is still a part of us. So like, even though I didn't know mommy, even though I didn't know her personally as a person, it's more so that I see myself every day and people say, yo, like, you look like a mom. Like, oh, you have this like certain personality trait that's just like your mom's. And that helps. Yeah. Like that, along with journaling, and along with just like.
I still have to journal in my car, by the way.
Oh, that's just like my Bible book. But it's like a journal too. But yeah, I got another journal. I definitely like put in entries whenever like I'm feeling like kind of like lonely, or just anytime, you know, sometimes you just get those like sad moments out of nowhere. Like, think about Zoe, think about mommy, like think about anybody. Yeah. And you know, sometimes you can't really just run away from those situations. Like, you just gotta grow through it.
Yeah. And I think journaling is good. I'm glad that you do that. I didn't know that you did that regularly. I try.
Oh, regularly.
Okay, well that's just an option. I know you're not like Dear Diary, everybody. I know that, but I didn't know that you even journal. So that's good. And I would say, I know you had just mentioned, I kind of like brought in your Bible notes, like where you take your notes from church. How has that been for you, that journey and like learning it more about God and connecting it with a spiritual level?
Well, you know, it's a learning process. Like, the best we can do is try and attempt to like reach his perspective on things, because I feel like that's like the ultimate goal. Yeah. So Jesus did. Yeah, exactly. You try and see like what he would do in certain situations and how he would like handle certain experiences. So I feel like with that, it's just, you know, just dialed in. So I would say what really like started it was me reading the book of Proverbs. So the book of Proverbs, it really like details how you kind of should conduct yourself as a man, and not just a person in general. So that was like Bible to me, especially when like journaling and thinking about like how to really progress from this point on. Yeah. Because what already happened. Yeah. Like a lot of things, are just out of your control. I feel like that's what a lot of people focus on, things that aren't in their control.
Yeah, no, and that's like something big for me. I know we went to church together recently, twice there, like this summer, and I really am so excited about how much we are almost at the same time, like learning to have a deeper relationship with God. And it's like really ironic, because like, okay, now all of a sudden y'all want, you know, but I think it's really dope. It's really cool. I think it's even more cool that like your friend came to church with us, and you know, and Ace, like came and he said, yeah. So I really think that sometimes people, again, like you said, want to figure out why and all these answers to their problems, when We just kind of have to lean on God for those things and trust that like He's gonna guide you through these processes. But
and sometimes it's okay not to understand.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing too.
Yeah, because it's like if you try to, it's like you're just gonna be miserable. And I wanted to kind of go back to understanding as a child. So I feel like a lot of decision making in your adult life stems back to your childhood. So I know we lost mommy really early. We had our father who was very involved, but everyone kind of falls short sometimes of certain things. How did that impact you? How did you feel, when daddy, sometimes wasn't there because of substance issues?
I mean that did hurt. Like as a child, that hurt a lot. I mean, it's mainly because the absence of one parent, and then like an absence of another. And so with that, like that took a while to get over it. And it's not even that I'm getting over it, it's more so that like I'm moving with it.
Or just to me, like the way I look at certain things is that you have to, in the past, accept people who they were, in a sense. And not to say like, oh, it's a bad person, or anything like, we love you, daddy. But just like, I feel like our situations and our circumstances in childhood has shaped us to be how we are. Because a lot of people are like, well, how are we still doing this? How are they still getting through this? Like, we like people know like living from house to house, and all these things. It's like not typical for you to do those things and still continue to try your best to be like the best you can be. But in my opinion, like, doesn't mean that we don't fall short and we don't have our mistakes, and we don't weep in sorrow and have other vices to like help to relax us or whatever like that may be. Like we go through it as well. And so like that was like kind of my point with this podcast, is to just like show, just because you went through X, Y, and Z, it doesn't mean that you can't overcome and become what it is that your purpose and destined to be. So I kind of like started and lost my question for you. But I think the main part was, just like, how did our upbringing get you to be in this mindset and move the way you move?
So, like with that particular incident, or that just whole like experience or situation with our father, is more so like I accepted it. Like I have this mindset now where it's like, it doesn't matter. It's not as important like to make the right decision at the right time. It's more so important to make your decisions right.
Where you get that from?
Chill. I think I stole it from like Inky Johnson.
Yeah, so. It's just like come up with it.
Hey, not too much. Time for philosopher. But yeah, so it's definitely not about like that right decision initially, because I mean we all make wrong decisions. Like that's why he died on the cross for our sins. Like we all gonna fall short, and who's to say like I wouldn't fall victim to what he did. So I don't necessarily like. I feel like at that point, that's really when my like kind of mindset changed about that. Because like after I heard that, I'm like, dang, like if you just keep blaming somebody or keep blaming that situation for like the person that you are, it's not going to be any type ways like beneficial for your success, for your career, for whatever you try to do. Because you're just going to be anchored in that situation, anchored in the past.
And so, I really love that, because the thing is, I have realized when it comes to forgiveness, or what has made me like really embrace what forgiveness means, is God, Jesus died. He forgives us for everything that we do over and over and over and over again, no matter how big and how small, as long as you come to him with it. So I kind of translate that with me, like, who am I? Am I better than God to not forgive somebody for how they hurt me? Like, who do you think you are? You know, because if he can forgive you for what you've done, how come you can't forgive this person? Granted, this person might continue to do what it is that they're doing, but like, you still have to have forgiveness in your heart. And so for me, I feel like sometimes people think like you can't still be maybe hurt or think about it or talk about it and not forgive, but you can't. I feel like, you know, something can still just kind of like linger and you think about it, but that doesn't mean that you have not forgiven that person. And so for me, forgiveness looks like still embracing that person in a sense. Like if something ever happened, like I would still, you know, go to bat for you, things like that, because that's what Jesus would do, essentially. It might be hard, but it's just like, that's how I try and think about it when I get into, you know, my little, like, in my feelings, you know, because we all have this, like, where it's like, nah, like, that, like, no. But it's just like, I have to remind myself, like, who are you? Like, who are you? So next I wanted to kind of talk about how you have, I guess, gotten through like the high school and the college, like what things kind of like help you to stay distracted, I guess, from home life sometimes.
Definitely like basketball, hanging out with people of like good influence. Well, they don't have to be good influence. I mean, in middle school, high school, we was wild or whatever, but at the same time, it's like staying with people that like bring that positive energy. So it's like with that really helps because a lot of people have things that go on with them. Like, some of my friends, like, shoot, they lost their mom and their dad. And like, it was good that me and them like talked it out because who knows, like I really could have like changed something in that person's life or they could change something in my life. And they probably did. They had a big impact as far as like how I felt about the situation. So I definitely say surrounding yourself with like, you know, people, like positive people, bring out positive energy.
Do you ever feel like, sorry not to cut you off, because of like the things that you've been through, you're able to inspire or help other people just kind of navigate?
Oh, definitely. That's a big thing with what I do down at Central, even though I be down at Central. So it's like,
come back.
So it's this mentor thing that I do. And it's for like middle schoolers, high schoolers, and we get to talk to them. We get to tell our stories because I know, one of those kids in there, like they experienced something super dramatic, like the Saturday before they came in there. And like, it's good that like they see people that like go through certain things and that, are still okay after those situations. So I definitely would say, I am a big inspiration to like a lot of people. Just like getting through what I got through and still like, putting a smile on my face every day. So it's not like I want to try and make it seem like I don't go through hard things, but
and it doesn't affect you too, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, like he turning up, he doing this, he doing that, like how can he do this after X, Y, and Z has happened? So I feel like a lot of times people think like with grieving, I'll use Zoe's homegoing service for an example, like afterwards, like after she passed away, we partied and we had a cookout and it was just like a family reunion, having all these friends and family come. It was beautiful, but it was like her spirit. That's what she would have wanted. And so I think sometimes like people want to stamp like grief and losing people to like, you have to be sad and depressed all the time. But it's just like, why not rejoice? Like that year she passed, I felt like she left a part of her in me. me growing up, I don't know if you've noticed, so I was a very passive child. I spoke up and I said what I wanted to say sometimes, but I was very much a people pleaser. And still kind of struggle with that a little bit now, but so much better than before. But I admired and respect Zoe so much for just like standing her ground, not caring what anyone had to say about her. And so I'm just like, you know what? She did that like really her entire life. Like, why can't I do that? And so I feel like that was the year that like I think I told my, I think it was 25. I was 25 years old. Right? I'm 24. It was 24. I got a cabin. I bought a cabin for all my friends, and we went up to the mountains. I was like, I don't care who comes. Like, y'all all just come. That year, I went on like a dating spree. Like, I just like outside, did not care. But I just like, this is something that Zoe would do. She didn't care about what people thought, and I think that is what, stood out about her so much, and that's what I admired so much, and that's what I felt like I lacked caring about, not caring about what people said. So I'm just like, if she gonna go, then I'm gonna take something from her, so it's just like that. It's a way that I was able to cope, really like embracing who she was. And it was funny, earlier you were saying like how somebody says like, you were just like a mommy. But I feel like we all have components of mommy, like literally all three of us. Like I think Zoe definitely, mommy used to dance and, just she just like didn't care sometimes what people said. It seemed based off the stories. She was kind of like, I'm here, showing up. And then me, I feel like, on the business side, like she didn't play about her paper. She, had all these hair salons. She was a hustler. Like I remember Christmas, mommy was not there. She was in the shop at sometimes, like at Christmas morning. Yeah, she was in the salon, like getting her money. We were putting up rollers in the car all the time. This is like, we were shop babies, sleeping up hair, all that stuff. Oh my gosh, you would cry so much. You cry so much. You would have to like put you in a closet with us. The mommy didn't know. We don't want her to know like that you were crying if she was working. So me and Zoe would like kind of take turns and just hide you basically.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I would say like for you, a part of mommy, I just think that like reserved side of her, from what I can remember and what I hear, just kind of like peeping stuff. And I feel like you're literally like, not a big Tom, but you notice that you're very observant, but you don't think too much about it. But I know it's all in your head. I'll be watching you.
Nah, I mean, you definitely, I feel like you always gotta listen more than you talk. I mean, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So it's like,
you spitting in that.
Oh, I got that from my old PE teacher.
Okay.
Back when I was like 6, man. He did his statement out. Yeah, I do remember things. But yo, I had something to get back to. It's something that you said earlier. When you was talking about Zoe, about like how people leave and it feel like they still have pieces of them left on this earth, and like that's like real. That's super real.
When do you feel like she left you? Besides that, now you don't rock with that much.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be turned. Like, Auntie.
I'm not in the close friends, but I got only in that.
Oh, yeah, you can't get in the close friends.
Or the Finsta.
Oh, I ain't used my Finsta in like a couple of years. But nah, it's always be lit. Yeah. And like, the thing I wanted to say was, it's like when people pass away, I feel like the sadness comes from like us not necessarily knowing. Like when people pass away, I feel like they're not going, but they just become something like much bigger than we can ever really imagine. So it's like they're always gonna be here in one shape or form, whether it's not like physical, whether it's like something spiritually, or it's something that you just feel. Like, I mean, sometimes too, it would be a late night driving or whatever, and like they'll pop into my head. Or like I hear a song or something that like they used to get lit to. Like I know they say like well I know Zoe some of her lit songs be like Future when he was like real popping. Dirty Sprite. You remember that album?
I don't know.
Man, like 2 Chainz, because that was like that era that.
But no, I know what you're talking about. I know songs that you say but.
Yeah, so it's like listening to those, like it's almost like a reconnect. Or like, I know Graham, she would say, mommy's favorite song was a Kirk Franklin song, When I Smile.
Oh, I didn't
know her. Is that the song? It's either that or like Revolution.
Was it Hosanna?
It could have been. Okay. But it's like, even when I hear songs like that, like, it's like a reconnect.
So I do know for a fact one song, so she has close to the year, it was that Alicia Keys album. I keep on falling. Okay. That song, she loved that song. She like Maxwell Woman to Work. She had that album. So every time I hear that song, I go crazy.
That's tough.
I don't know if you know this song is a little bit before your time, but Mariah Carey Hero. We actually did. Yeah, we did it. So, Mommy had like a dance studio where she was about to open before she passed away in her salon, and they had like the dance bars and
studio in the salon.
It was like half of the salon and half of the dance studio. Like they had the dance floor and everything. It was for little girls, like ballet, modern dance, jazz, all that stuff. And so me and Zoe used to perform dances at like banquets and just, I don't know, little things that I guess you would do like a show for. It's almost talent show. And she would teach us the dances. One of the songs was Hero by Mariah Carey. So I try not to even play a song unless I want to cry, because that song really chokes me up. You got to listen to it on your back. But it's beautiful. And I remember the dance moves. I'm not going to do them, but I remember some of the dance moves. We had like our pink tutus.
Did you dance around?
Like, no.
I knew Zoe was a dancer. I don't remember.
It depends on the beat. It depends on the beat. Okay. But I was more into like the modern ballet type, not really the hip hop as much, but I'll be having a little rhythm sometimes. Geeks to dance. Geeks not a little.
I was back in the day.
Anyway. Sure. But no, this one's great. I'm so glad that you just like it's talk with you. Just look at me.
No, for real.
Because
I came up here. I don't know what I was gonna say for real.
Yeah. Well, I think everything kind of flowed out really nicely, and I'm glad you are able to express yourself. And speaking of expressing, I do want to ask because I know recently you had asked about therapy, and I know Black men in therapy. It's just a little bit still unheard of. I don't know if you started your sessions, but how was how was that for you? Like, is that kind of something different? That I think a different approach, and I don't know. And then what made you? When you asked me about a therapist, I was looking for like the other things in here, but I don't want to ask that because just because you mean that want to talk to a therapist doesn't mean something's wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just, selfishly thinking, okay, did something happen with someone, or is he taking? Because I know, like, around that time, it was like a time where I was going through something, and I never know, like, how you feel about certain things that I've gone through as well. So it's like, is he okay? Is he okay? Because I don't know, but like, can you talk about that experience?
Oh, nah, therapy was dope, and it wasn't necessarily that I was going through something. I mean, we all get like those moments where we like sad or whatever, but it was more so I was trying to get like equipped with the tools to help like manage like certain things, like whether that's like relationships, whether that's like just like even feelings with like mommy and Zoe. So like that's something I talked to him about. I only went to therapy one time, but I mean, it was great. It was what I needed.
Yeah.
I definitely plan on going back. But handling school and everything. But it was
At least you started. I mean, most people won't even budge at the, like even attempting. So, maybe you inspired some people to go to therapy because you or at least tried it once, So I think, keep at it because it seemed like you had a big experience from it. Yeah, so I know we were talking about therapy. What would you, because I know, again, it's really this stigma that something has to be wrong, or, again, males, especially males of color, they definitely don't budge at it. So what would you recommend or give advice to, about inspiring maybe someone to give it a try, or even, what your experience was like? Was it weird to you at first? Tell me about that.
I would say my first experience was kind of scary. It was only because I was telling people about it, and then people were telling me that, hey, that person is really going to expose you. They're going to really bring out some deep feelings that you have within. So it's going to be a very emotional experience. But when I got there, the therapist was great. What he did, he really just made me feel like I was talking to a homie. And it was good that I got a therapist that was I wouldn't say similar to me, but I mean, he's a black male. He graduated from an HBCU, got his master's at a PWI. So he's kind of within the same realm that I am as far as just pathways. But I would definitely say try and reach out to someone or try and locate a therapist that's very similar to you, because they're going to be the most relatable. Someone that's extremely relatable, it makes everything just kind of go easier.
More comfortable.
Yeah, right. But during the whole event, during the therapy session, it was dope. I remember we were at a park, and we were just talking about a bunch of things. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is that a movie?
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of a movie.
Yeah, it was dope. It was at a park. He was walking his dog. It was cool. And so, yeah, that experience was great. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing that I took from it was as far as the tools, those tools that it's psychological tools that kind of help you go against depression, go against certain experiences. All right, say if something happened, this is how you can cope with it. This is how you can properly move with this situation rather than running from it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big thing that people struggle with. They try to run from situations. When it's that situation will always come back and bite you.
Yeah.
That situation will always be there.
Yeah, unless you know how to cope with it or address it.
Exactly.
So that can be a closed book, or you just know how to step over that hump. Okay, nice. So what are some of the things that you took out of your session for therapy?
So I would say
Or walked away with?
Yeah, definitely being vulnerable. So one thing he talked about was that I shouldn't be such a shell all the time, just closed up to people trying to get to know me or trying to get to understand my story. Being vulnerable, it left me with empowerment. So it was at that point, I'm telling you this, explaining who I am, being stepping into my truths and everything. That gives you a sense of power. It gives you a sense of, okay, sure, I just explained everything. I don't have anybody that's going try and use that on me. It wouldn't be used as a weapon because it's already released.
Yeah. Now that's really dope, because sometimes, of course, people are oh, my friend is my therapist or whoever, but it's just it really helps when it's a non-biased person that can really give you great insight on what they see, from not knowing anything else about you.
Yeah.
All right. And so just to wrap it up, because this, the session is just kind of how to cope and overcome grief and mental health. But I also think it's really healthy to talk out loud to those people that we have lost. So if there was anything you could say to mommy, and Dizzle, what would you say?
I definitely, first of all, thank them. I definitely want to say thank you for, making me who I am. Because without them, like, who knows who I'll be.
Yeah.
So, like, lessons from Zoe, even just hearing about stories from mom, like, those stories really, help, like, motivate me into the man that I am destined to become. So I definitely want to thank them. And, yeah, I can't wait until they, see me graduate December 16th. That's going to be dope. But yeah, thank y'all.
Well, I would say, again, I love mommy dearly. I love Zoe dearly. And I don't even want to copy what you said, but like that is exactly how I feel. I think that I just want to thank them for what they have done to pour into our lives to become who we are today. Because I just know, like, we didn't lose mommy, we didn't have Zoe's influence and impact on our lives. Like, we just wouldn't be as strong as we are. Exactly. We wouldn't be as vulnerable now as we are, wouldn't be as relatable and reachable to other people. And just going back to God's word, it's about what you can do for others, not necessarily yourself. And so because of them, we can. And I think I just want to thank them too, and I want them to keep, looking out for you, girl, because I know it's some angels up there that we like the life in, and we've been dodging these bullets. So that is what I would say. And last but not least, how do you be well with Dizzle? Wasn't expecting that.
Nah, for real. My bad. How do I?
I mean, I could say mine. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
How do I be well with exhale? Just being active. I know sometimes like staying still is like important, but for me, being active, like walking outside, like connecting, I feel like to somehow like the atmosphere. Like, I'm so weird sometimes. Like, I'll go outside with no socks on and punching on my heart. And I just, like, will put my feet in the grass. And, like, I want to feel the soil. And for whatever reason, it charges me up. So I do a lot of things to be well in Excel, but that's something that I've been doing recently that has really, like, just helped me to release whatever it is. I know a lot of people, like, work out or, talk to your friends, talk to your therapist. So, like, I think sometimes, like, dealing those little knick-knack type things by yourself can really help to just, like, release in a way. So that's my way. Fit my feet in the grass.
No, I definitely feel that. I would say my way is definitely, like, being of service to others. So, like, showing love to people and, like, just experiencing how they experience the love that you gave them. So it's like, it's just one Bible verse. It say, above all things, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. And so with that being said, it's just showing like just the power of what love is and how you can really utilize that love. So it's like, no matter what I'm doing, even if like things are bad, like, I'm still gonna show you your respect. I'm gonna still show you love. Like, even if you didn't ask for it, even if it's not reciprocated, because this is not necessarily just for you, it's for me.
I might get my answer again because I just said I like to put my feet in the grass.
No, you didn't.
Like, weird.
Yours was good.
I'm gonna do a redo. It's okay. It is what it is. I'll just be the weird, narrow-minded human being tonight. Yeah, it just has a real important way. My brain is like, but no, it's all good. But I want to thank you, TJ, for aka Thomas, aka T Dizzle, for coming. I'm just still in awe, like, that you're this grown person that could sit here and have a conversation with me. The same kid who was sneaking girls in the house when I was working a 12-hour shift.
Yo, that was a long time ago.
Yes, it didn't seem that long to me.
That was before
I
AIDS.
was like, yep, for it. So I was like pulling up, and I'm like, I know I'm not delusional. I know I worked 12, 13 hours, but I think I just saw somebody come from behind my house.
Yeah.
You played me a lot in that town.
Chill. I was pretty sneaky.
Yeah. I was sneaky growing up.
Yeah.
When I still think I was sneaky.
Alright.
Me and them, really? Yeah.
Actually,
We have
yeah.
had a little plan.
Nah, y'all was lit. But yeah. But nah, sure. I want to thank you though. You know, even though like I feel like I've been through a lot of things. Like you've been through the same amount of things, and you still progressing. You still doing what you got to do. Taking care of your son, little Ace. You know, starting a business, doing podcasts, like everything that you do. I mean, it's like motivation to me for real, because it's like I don't have an excuse. Because seeing you do it, it's like, all right, it's no way I can just be like, oh, I can't do that, dude. Because like you exceed like limitations.
Dang, I'm not crying for real, but I really want to cry.
I said, promise you, right?
No, I mean, really, like you know, I definitely wanted to burst out in waterfalls a couple of times while you were talking, but I just don't want makeup look too good today. But no, I appreciate it because, you know, a lot of what I do, I know you're not my son or anything, but a lot of what I did from the get-go, like me even choosing to go to Central opposed to
closer to me.
any college I could have went to that I got into with my Bill Gates scholarship, I chose to be closer to keep an eye on you, make sure you were good, make sure you lived a stable and consistent life, or whatever that looked like. It's what I could provide as a college student. So I'm just, you're one of my biggest accomplishments, and I can't get more prouder. Like, you can go mop floors, I don't care. I'm still gonna be proud of you. But yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hey,
all right. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. And it's really well needed, and I'm so just so thankful that we were able to have these. I was like anxious about asking you questions. It's like I've never asked you certain things. And I'm just like proud of watching.
Well, I mean, how we be talking on the phone? You understand? I can keep up.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. You just because I never asked you directly about mommy. Like I've always been scared to know how you felt because you never really expressed. You kind of always had this poker face, even as a child. So I was just like, okay, so I'll bring it up if they're gonna open a can of worms that I don't know if I can handle. So I didn't ask more so for selfish reasons. But gotcha. I'm glad that you were able to maneuver and get through anyway.
This was definitely dope.
Alright, so at the end of every episode, although I have been slacking, we want to do a deep breathe in and out to just continue to be well and just exhale whatever impurities, dark thoughts, negative thoughts, whatever it is that we don't need in our body right now. So on the count of 3, I want us to hold our breath for 4 seconds. And then release. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just think you are. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Like I was a blur. It's okay.
We can